The girl was leisurely enjoying sunbathing by the seaside, when suddenly the waves seemed to freeze in place. A moment of panic ensued among the beachgoers. Upon seeing the scene, the girl immediately grabbed a beverage from the table and splashed it into the air. The liquid momentarily suspended in midair, revealing a control panel within it. Shortly after, a black fissure tore open in the sky. The girl, sensing trouble, promptly reported the situation to the Central Security Bureau. At that moment, the girl reverted to her true identity. She was none other than Angela, a third-ranking officer at the Central Security Bureau. In a future 400 years from now, the Earth's environment, under the excessive exploitation by humans, has turned extremely hostile. However, over 80% of the population is indifferent to this, as they have completely forsaken their physical bodies and migrated their consciousness to live in the virtual data space of the space station Deva. Within this virtual realm, Deva provides various forms of entertainment and lifestyle options for its inhabitants. Yet not all humans agree with this way of life. Among them is a mysterious force called Setter. Their hackers relentlessly attack Deva's virtual space and claim that they can help volunteers break free from Deva's control and create new physical bodies for them, together exploring the universe. Setter's statements immediately caught the attention of the Central Security Bureau. Through investigations within the Deva system, they discovered that these hackers are native inhabitants of Earth. Angela, as a security officer, was sent to the real world to track down the identity of the hacker. Upon accepting the mission, the system used Angela's genetic data to create the most suitable material body for her. However, the production of an adult material body requires 34 hours, and with time pressing, Angela had to prematurely terminate the material body production. As a result, her material body remained in the appearance of her 16-year-old self. After a brief adjustment to her new body, Angela boarded the pod preparing to fly to Earth. Her superiors also assigned a colleague to assist her in her work, a person named Dingo, who had completed many challenging tasks dispatched to him by the system on Earth. The pod soon arrived on Earth with Angela enveloped in green liquid, successfully reaching the planet. Just as she lamented the poor air quality, countless mutated monsters suddenly rushed towards her, and all these monsters were attracted by Dingo. Helpless, Angela had no choice but to prepare to rescue him. Deva had prepared the most advanced mecha equipment for her. Angela elegantly mounted it, and as the engines behind the mecha roared to life, unleashing a massive energy wave, the mecha ascended into the sky, heading towards the dangerous location where Dingo was. At this moment, Dingo remained unfazed and casually gestured to Angela. The colossal sandworms stood no chance against the mecha piloted by Angela. After defeating all the sandworms, Angela piloted the mecha back to the ground. She questioned Dingo about why he had attracted so many sandworms. Just then, 7 transport trucks suddenly appeared. Originally, sandworms are one of the main food sources for humans on Earth. Now Dingo intentionally led a large number of sandworms to Angela's landing point and then used her powerful mecha to eliminate them all. This way, Dingo could make a big profit from the local farmers who were dealing with the sandworms. Dingo looked at Angela and was very curious why her body looked like that of a young girl. Angela explained that she was in a hurry and didn't wait for the system to fully develop the material body into an adult, so she directly used this semi-finished body. At that moment, Dingo suddenly started praising Angela's combat skills. Upon hearing his praise, Angela couldn't help but express her pride. She attributed the strength of her mecha to its constant connection with Deva. The Deva system, through precise calculations, provided her with the best attack strategies. Dingo then inquired about the location of the mecha's communication receiver. Angela pointed to the back panel, but as soon as she finished speaking, Dingo picked up a gun and shot the receiver of the mecha. Before Angela could get angry, Dingo began to educate her. The enemy hackers could infiltrate the Deva system. While the mecha was constantly receiving signals from Deva, this undoubtedly exposed their location. Following this, Dingo asked if the mecha could still function without the data connection to Deva. Angela had a wry smile and admitted that a mecha without a network was just a pile of scrap metal. Consequently, the mecha that Angela was so proud of was taken by Dingo to a scrapyard in exchange for some money. Dingo then decided to head to a town 1,000 kilometers away to purchase intelligence. Angela didn't understand why they needed to go so far. Dingo explained to her that Deva would soon send volunteers, so after arriving on Earth, they would definitely contact Deva. This would expose all their information and location to Setter's hackers. But the crucial point was that a person in that town had once traded intelligence with Setter. Feeling that it was late, Dingo suggested resting before setting off. Angela, however, didn't want to waste time, so she insisted that Dingo rest while she took the wheel. Dingo had prepared sandworm meat skewers for her, but Angela, recalling the monsters from earlier in the day, promptly declined. At this moment, several meteors streaked across the sky, signaling the arrival of Angela's companions on Earth. This only heightened Angela's urgency to complete the mission first. After a day and a night of travel, the two finally reached Jade Town. Upon entering the town, Dingo headed straight to a shop where the owner had previously been involved in intelligence trading with Setter. Dingo conversed with the shop owner in the local language, leaving Angela impatiently waiting on the sidelines. She wanted Dingo to translate for her, but he was summoned inside by the shop owner, leaving Angela frustrated as she loitered outside. Suddenly, 3 men intercepted her, eyeing the advanced equipment she carried. Angela decided to teach them a lesson and lighten her mood. However, the lack of sleep from the previous night quickly drained her energy. Seizing the opportunity, one of the men bound her from behind, while another brandished a knife, gesturing menacingly towards her face. Just then Dingo suddenly appeared and shot down the man's knife. Seeing this, the 3 thugs immediately fled. Dingo approached and noticed that Angela appeared to have a fever. Angela struggled to stand up, but after a few steps she nearly collapsed. Dingo did not expect that even an electronic life form could be infected by Earth viruses. Subsequently, Dingo took her to a safe area to rest. Due to the widespread abandonment of most areas on Earth, medications had become extremely scarce resources. Dingo resorted to using the most primitive methods to help Angela reduce her fever. In the dead of night, a strain of music reached Angela's ears. She climbed to the roof and watched Dingo immersed in the music's background. She seemed to sense a bit of the enchantment of music, something she had never experienced in Deva's virtual world before. In the virtual world, as long as the memory is large enough, she can expand her own area at will, creating anything that belongs to her. These are experiences that cannot be felt on Earth. However, people on Earth have forsaken such opportunities. They choose to stay on Earth, facing the cycle of life and death, and the ever-present possibility of disasters. All of this can be resolved by going to the world of Deva. Yet they still remain steadfast on Earth. Dingo did not answer her, just gently patted her head. The next day, Angela and Dingo discussed Setter's true intentions at a noodle shop. Angela believed that Setter simply wanted to disrupt the peace in the Deva world. But Dingo disagreed with her statement because Setter had already indicated their intentions. When infiltrating the Deva system, they were seeking companions to venture into space together. However, Angela refuted his claim, stating that if Setter truly possessed equipment to travel into space, the Deva system would have detected it. Dingo was convinced that they must have some kind of spacecraft or rocket-like equipment. At this moment, a man approached Dingo. The man's name was Lazaro. Introduced by the previous shopkeeper, Lazaro traded in fertilizers. Each time he gathered enough fertilizer, he would travel to the northern ruins for trading. The main ingredient in the fertilizer was ammonium nitrate, which decomposed into nitrous oxide. This substance could be used as a rocket oxidizer. Upon learning this information, they decided to wait at the ruins for the other party to arrive. They immediately began setting up surveillance equipment around the area. Just as Angela positioned the monitor, the target appeared. However, the other party had only sent a robot for the trade. To track the robot's owner, Dingo hid a tracking device in the box. They followed the robot and arrived at a desolate ruin where few people ventured. At the entrance of the ruins stood a robot. Dingo approached and asked if it knew Setter. However, the robot's response startled him because it claimed to be Setter. Setter explained that it was born from a program, a conscious artificial intelligence. When Dingo inquired about its plans for exploring the universe, Setter was transparent and directly showed Dingo the results. Looking through the infrared perspective of a telescope, Dingo saw a colossal entity in space. Setter revealed that this probe ship was named the Genesis Ark, measuring 1,200 meters in length. Surprisingly, Setter had created this probe ship. The location of the probe ship was in a blind spot, which was why Deva had not discovered it. Setter was actually born from a project called Border Reset. This initiative was a transnational effort established by various countries. Its goal was to address the sudden environmental changes on Earth through an outer space migration plan. However, this plan was abruptly terminated due to a massive explosion on Earth. Following the catastrophe, most people on Earth chose to enter Deva's virtual world to survive. It was during this time that Setter also developed its own consciousness. It aimed to continue and fulfill the cosmic migration plan. However, due to the redesign, the probe ship was downsized and could not accommodate real individuals. Still, The residents of Deva's virtual world could be sent into space to successfully integrate the power unit. Setter spent over a century collecting materials for rocket launches on Earth. It improved existing missile devices to create rockets, allowing the reactor to be launched into the probe ship's orbit for power integration. This would enable the probe ship to have a power unit and explore the universe. After learning the whole truth, Angela understood Setter's purpose. Her mission was now complete. Angela felt that this information should be reported to the higher authorities. However, the communication receiver linking to Deva had long been destroyed by Dingo, making it impossible for her to transmit consciousness data back to Deva. Setter mentioned that it could reconstruct the pathway to Deva. While reconstructing the connection pathway, Angela called Dingo out to discuss something she couldn't comprehend: why Setter was acting this way. Setter's actions were beyond the realm of mimicking human machinery, but Dingo's biggest concern now is how Angela will report to the top officials at Deva. Setter's presence poses no real threat to Deva, as its intrusion was merely to seek companions for its space mission. As long as Setter ceases its intrusion into the Deva system, that would be sufficient. Angela was also convinced as long as Setter refrains from further intrusion into Deva, their mission would be considered accomplished. But what made Angela curious was why Dingo didn't choose to live inside Deva. There he could likely enjoy a prestigious resident status. In fact, Dingo had long discovered the loopholes in the Deva system. While Deva's higher-ups publicly promoted the idea of unlimited spiritual exploration, in reality, they allocated limited storage space to each individual. The size of a person's space depended on their achievements, determining their quality of life. Residents of Deva had to rely on constant competition to secure their living environment. Those who lacked the ability to earn achievements would have their space taken away and redistributed to more capable individuals. And this is also the means by which the Deva system can control everyone. Meanwhile, Setter successfully established a connection pathway with Deva. With Setter's assistance, Angela finally managed to return her consciousness to the world of Deva. Using the equipment, she truthfully reported the mission status to the heavenly gods. Angela conveyed that Setter posed no threat to the world of Deva. It was merely fulfilling its own wishes. However, the heavenly gods believed that leaving a powerful artificial intelligence unchecked could lead to irreversible crisis situations in the future. Therefore, the heavenly gods commanded her to go to Earth and eliminate Setter. Angela felt this judgment was unfair and planned to report it to headquarters. They immediately revoked her position, citing the crime of leaking confidential information, and directly sealed Angela's consciousness. Meanwhile, Setter intercepted an urgent communication from the Central Security Bureau. The intelligence indicated that their location coordinates had been obtained by all the Deva forces stationed on Earth. They were about to launch a full-scale attack on this location. News of Angela's confinement also reached them. Dingo immediately suspected that Angela must have angered the higher-ups by pleading on Setter's behalf. However, as an artificial intelligence, Setter failed to grasp why Angela would act in such a manner. Dingo explained to Setter that this was one of the human emotions known as loyalty. Shortly after, Setter once again invaded the world of Deva and located the sealed Angela. Setter is sorry for its behavior of invading Deva once again, but this time it was out of loyalty. Upon hearing this, Angela burst into laughter. She apologized for not being able to convince her superiors. Angela then revealed Deva's plan to eliminate Setter, but Setter remained indifferent to it because its spaceship only needed 62 minutes to refuel before launching. Angela had been expelled from Deva and decided to depart with Setter. They successfully traversed the high-speed communication port, bypassed security alerts, and arrived at the low-orbit platform filled with advanced mecha. Using her consciousness data, Angela commandeered all the mecha and combat equipment. Subsequently, Angela and Setter boarded a mecha and swiftly flew towards Earth. However, the Central Security Bureau had already spotted them and dispatched fighter jets to pursue them. Angela directly operated the mecha to counterattack. Setter utilized its exceptional computational power to assist Angela. It consistently analyzed the enemy's positions and attack routes. Through their seamless coordination, they successfully took down the enemy spacecraft. At this moment, Dingo is on the rooftop carrying Angela's material body, waiting for Setter to bring back Angela's consciousness data. Setter and Angela are flying at full speed towards the rocket base on Earth with all the mechas and combat equipment. Meanwhile, the Deva army on Earth is also advancing towards the rocket base. Angela pilots the mecha and successfully lands in front of Dingo. Immediately, he hands over Angela's material body. Angela directly transfers the consciousness data back into the material body through the interface. Dingo warns them that the situation is extremely critical as the Deva army is about to raze the area to the ground. Setter informs them that there are 20 minutes left until the rocket launch, so they must do their best to protect the rocket base. During this time, everyone immediately begins to act separately. At this moment, the Deva mecha forces have already discovered them. Angela quickly sets up the advanced equipment she brought back in ambush around the rocket base. She then jumps onto a mecha, ready to confront the enemy. While Setter continues to provide her with data analysis, a chaotic battle ensues between the mechas in the ruins of the city, with dazzling beams of laser fire crisscrossing the area. In the end, they successfully withstand the enemy's fierce attacks. As the rocket is about to launch, Setter suggests that Angela and Dingo accompany it, but both of them refuse. Dingo looks at Setter and feels that Setter is more human-like than the people living in Deva. In the final moments of the story, Setter decides to embark on a journey into the unknown alone. Dingo sings a song to bid farewell to Setter, while Angela chooses to stay on Earth and live with Dingo.